What is up, guys? My name is Will from Ghost Hack, and guess what just came out? FL Studio 20. Now, I was really excited about this, and there are some great features that came with this new update, and I'm going to show you 10 of my favorite new ones today. Here is my list of the top 10 most significant updates that came with FL Studio 20. Update number 1 is something that a lot of people were super hyped about, and I was as well. FL Studio is now fully available for Mac computers. Projects can now be transferred very easily between Windows and Mac computers. As long as you have the same plugins and you share the same samples, then there should be no problem. It'll be exactly the same as sharing it with another PC or with another Mac. Update number 2 on this list is the toolbar. Now, you see the toolbar up here. You already can see some visual changes, in the pattern, the song selections. You can see the level is now a knob instead of an actual fader. Just small stuff like that, but here's the thing. There's a lot of this that you can edit now. First of all, what you can do is you can just right click anywhere and you can hit edit. And now this pops up. Now I have my FL Studio dragged over 2 screens, so I'm just going to resize FL real quick. Alright, now you can see everything a little better. Now you can see all of the toolbar options you have here. These right here, the ones that are highlighted, are ones that are actually not in the project at all. You see, there's the tempo tapper. If I look for the view tempo tapper up here, there is no tempo tapper. I took the tempo tapper out because I did not find it important to me. If I want to bring it back in, all I have to do is drag it in, and there it is, and you can see that it's faded out now. I don't need it, however, so I can just drag it back. This means that if there is a tool up here, any kind of tool, any kind of window that you do not need and you think it's just taking up space, you don't want it there, then you can easily just take it out. You can do it with almost anything. Now, when playing around with this, you may notice that some things cannot be moved around in the same way that they could before. They cannot simply just be slid along these little lines here. They can't just be put anywhere. They have to match up. Now, when I span FL Studio through both the screens, I have this whole panel only on this screen. I don't want it on this screen. I want it on this screen instead. And I can't really show you this in the video, but this is where these fixed spaces come into play. You see, I put a fixed space. I just dragged in a fixed space right there, and I dragged it in right there. And now I can add space. And so all I did was I took this and I dragged it way out like this. So I have a full screen of just emptiness, and then it starts in with the actual tools on my main screen. Let's say I want there to be some separation between this module and this module. All I have to do is throw in some fixed space and then drag the space out however far I want it. And you can do this, infinite amount of times, just anywhere you want it. That's how you can arrange empty space. And once you have a good layout that you like, what you can do is you can hit this little arrow and hit Save Preset. So now if you ever want to change it or do something else for a specific project and then you want to go back to it afterward, you have the preset saved. Update number 3 is in the sampler. I have just an 808 kick here to show you the different stuff you can do. Start off, we have a little start offset knob here, which you can it's basically just offsetting the start point. You can take away the transient of something, just the very front of it, and you can do it all the way to the very end here. So if I didn't want the impact, I just wanted the bass, there I have it. And you can do something very, very similar with the sample start. Now, this actually does shorten the sample. It doesn't just limit its range, it does shorten the sample. So I can just do the same thing here and just take out the transient. Now I don't have the kick, I just have the bass. You can also change the length of the sample with this length knob here, and you can shorten it all the way down to like almost nothing, just the tiniest little piece. And you can see we really zoomed in on the sample here. So I don't want a whole kick, I just want maybe half. Let's just go like this. And then I want it to shut up. That's very easy. And you can control this length along with the usual in-out to really edit the sample to your liking. If you hit this little button here, there is even more effects you can add, such as a boost. You can just raise the volume in general. I am starting to clip on my mixer here, but what I can do is select this little clip option, and now it will not clip in the mixer, it will only clip in the sampler. So now you can get that really distorted 808 sound without having to actually add a distortion on it. Next, we also have a ring modulation module here. Right now, the frequency is default in the middle, but I can turn it up right here, the mix. Then I can mess with the frequency. Let's turn the mix down a bit. That can be really fun to mess with. Next up, we just have a plain old low pass filter with this cutoff. And you can also adjust the resonance. And if that wasn't enough, we even have some reverb here. There are 2 reverb algorithms that you can add to these samples. This can be really good for adding just a little bit of metallicness to whatever sample you throw in here, as well as just any normal average room noise. Now, this might not be the best idea on a kick, but there is also the stereo delay knob where we can change, that looks trippy, where we can change the time variable for the left and the right side. I can just delay the left or the right side. And this is just a really quick way to add a little bit of stereo, even if you just do it a little bit, just a tiny bit. There we have it for the sampler. Next up is project templates. Now there are a lot of new project templates for a lot of different genres. If you go to File, and then New from Template, then you can go into Advanced, and then you have all these different templates here for all these different kind of genres. Let's take dubstep, for instance. Here is my dubstep template. It has everything laid out for me, all the things that a normal dubstep producer would need. It even has a lot of instruments already laid out. For example, it has a sub. And also, they have the drum channel all laid out with really good samples here. Update number 5 is having multiple playlists. Now this right here is the playlist window, and let's say I created a little, basic trap beat here. If I wanted to test out another arrangement for this track, all I might have to do is select this arrangement thing right here, and then hit clone, and then I'll just name this arrangement 2. And now we can switch between arrangement 1 and arrangement 2. Now if I wanted to make a change to arrangement 2, if I wanted to do something like this instead, it'd be very, very easy. Now I can just switch back to arrangement 1 if I wanted to hear this again. Now if I wanted to merge these together, it would be only too easy. All I have to do is hit merge with, I have arrangement 1 selected, and then this window comes up and I have to hit arrangement 2. And then I can hit accept, and now both of these are merged. Update number 6 is the time signature changes. Now let's say I'm in the normal 4/4 time signature here, and I want it to go to, let's say, 3/4 time. It would be only too easy. I just have to put my marker anywhere I want it to change. I'm just going to do it from the beginning. I'm going to hit down here. I'm going to go to time markers, and I'm going to add time signature change. And once I click that, this comes up. You got the numerator and denominator. I want it in 3/4 time, and I will hit accept. And now I have this 3/4 time signature change. And now when I drag it around, you can see it change. You see there's 4 here. And then I have it in 3/4 time. So now there's 3 per bar. You can see there's 4 beats here, and then there's 3 beats here. And the best way to hear this, I believe, is on the metronome. So if I just play the metronome, I'm going to select the beep for right now because it's much easier to hear when the bar starts because there's a higher beep. Like that. So let's just say I want to loop from here to here. You can hear the 4 beats, and then we can have the 3 beats in here. FL Studio recognizes it with the metronome. Then if you wanted to switch back to 4/4 at any other point in the track, it'd be just too easy. All you have to do is right click here, add time signature, 4/4, accept, and you are back into the 4/4 beat. If you want to make a pattern a different time signature, then that is very easy as well. Let's say I have pattern 1 here. In 4/4 beat, all I have to do is right click, go set time signature, and then change it to 3/4. And now it is in 3/4 beat. You see, if it were in 3/4, I'd have to add 2 more right here. And then that would finish the beat. And again, you can hear the metronome keep up with this. Number 7 is consolidation. Let's say I have a little snare pattern here with a bit of reverb. Now, if I was using the old FL and I wanted to make this an audio file, I'd have to open up an Edison in a mixer track, record it out, and then drag it into the playlist, but it is much, much easier now. All I have to do now is just make a selection. I can go up to Tools right here and go Consolidate Playlist Section, and then from Selection Start for this example. So I'm just going to leave it at Cut Remainder because I added a little tail right here, 24-bit wave, it should be fine. And then it will bounce it out, and there is my consolidated clip. Now you can see I put the snare originally into a mixer channel that has reverb on it, and that was how I was getting the reverb. But now it recognized that the snare was going into that channel, and now this audio file is just going straight into the master, and you can hear the reverb on it. It bounced the reverb with the sample. Next up is the step sequencer editor. Now this is back by popular demand. This was an old versions of FL. They took it away, but they brought it back now. All you have to do is click this little button right here, and you will now have this little graph editor for whatever channel you have selected. Now let's say the snare here. Let's say I want to change the pitch of this snare. I want to just go fine pitch. I can change this snare hit to this right here. See, now I have changed the pitch of each individual snare hit. I can also go into something like a velocity, like if this one should be not as loud and this one should be very loud. It's very easy to do that now, and now it saves that, and now I can go into the hi-hat and I can change something like the panning. And also, let's say I want the pitch to go up here. Now you have the fine pitch right here. Let's say with the kick, you have the fine pitch right here, but if you want to actually change the note, it's very, very easy. All you have to do is note pitch. And now you have a mini piano roll. And I want this not to be C5. Let's say I want this to go up 1 octave. C6, there we go. Next up are plugin updates. Now there are a good amount of plugins that were updated with FL Studio 20's version. However, I don't have time to go over all of them. I'm just going to go over an example of one that I think is very, very neat. It is the update to Fruity Reverb 2. Let's hear it without the reverb. And now with the reverb. That's just your normal Fruity Reverb right there. And you can do the normal stuff like a low cut, a little bit of high cut. You can add some dampening. But you also have this whole new section right here. First off, you have this modulation. And adjusting the modulation and the speed can help get rid of, a metallic ring in your reverb. You can make it sound a lot more natural. But also, if you turn it all the way up, you can have it, use it for more creative stuff. It sounds like the reverb is kind of fading away, it's sort of shifting in the background. You also have your little delay here, but now there is a tempo sync button as well, so you can do something like this. And I find this really fun to use if you have kind of a complex pattern. It can be really fun to use on a pattern like this. Let's just turn it up to the second one. It adds almost a gating effect to the reverb, which makes it have a lot more movement. All right, and the final update we are going to talk about today is a new plugin. It is a VFX Level Scaler. Now to show you how this works, I'm gonna pull up a Harmor patch in Patcher. Here we have a very simple Harmor patch playing. And what we're going to do in this patcher is we're going to open a new plugin. This is going to be VFX Level Scaler. And all we're going to do is detach harmor and add this in before the harmor. This is very important. This is where you can add this plugin. And what you can do here is you have all these options up here. I'm just going to take velocity, for instance. Nothing's happening because we have a straight line. If you turn up the humanize, it kind of randomizes these levels here per note. It takes the MIDI notes and randomizes their velocity. And you can adjust a lot of things here, such as the tension, the multiply, and the offset. You can also choose a different mode if you don't want it to go both up and down. You might just want to go down. Just anywhere in there. And then you can do add, which is exactly the opposite. We can do the same thing for, let's say, the pitch. It's very, very interesting, but I think that the best thing you can do with this plugin, especially with the pitch, is if you want to make an instrument sound like it's not completely digital. With the pitch and the velocity, it's very, very easy. You know, maybe you don't want the pitch 100% right all the time. Maybe you want it just a little bit off. There's a little bit of detune involved. You just turn up the humanize a little bit. You can give a slightly detuned effect, which can give you kind of an analog feel. And especially if you're doing something on piano and you want each note to be different, it's very, very easy to just do this with the volume. You know, every note is not going to hit at, you know, exactly the same level. So this is a very, very interesting addition to FL Studio 20, and I'm excited to see what people can do with this. All right, there is my list of the top 10 updates that came with FL Studio 20. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative and that you learned a thing or two. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and happy producing with FL Studio 20.